Namaste everyone. As Sandeep ji would have said, that welcome to India Speaks Daily, where we don't have any left or right. We focus on the Sanatan voice. Today, a very difficult task is given to me, and the task is difficult because not because it involved a so-called Sadhguru, but because it involved the life of a child. And the child is being molested, and there is a very strong case. So it's a very tough conversation personally for me, because I am associated with education also. And हम इसको मिक्स हिंदी इंग्लिश में रखेंगे. बच्चे की माताजी हमारे साथ हैं. उन्होंने केस किया है सदगुरु जग्गी वासुदेव की फाउंडेशन के ऊपर, के स्कूल के ऊपर, के गुरुकुल के ऊपर. So let's call Yamini ji, and then we will start this conversation. It is very difficult conversation for me, but we will try to keep it as meaningful, as accurate, and as relevant to the topic as possible. So let's welcome Yamini ji to India Speaks Daily, and then we'll start the conversation. Yamini ji, namaste.
Namaste.
Welcome to India Speaks Daily.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yamini ji, first let's talk about the case itself, and then we will talk about. So maybe if you can talk briefly about what is the case, what is it about, who all are involved, how all this happened. So for the viewers of India Speaks Daily, and maybe you can also introduce yourself first.
My name is Yamini Ragani और हम आंध्र प्रदेश से हैं, राजमंड्री से हैं, और हमारा जो नाता है सदगुरु जी से वो ऑलमोस्ट 2013 से है. और we have been very core volunteers at Isha Foundation for a very very long time. 2014 में हमने अपने बच्चे को ईशा होम स्कूल में डाला था, और वो एक ICSE बोर्ड स्कूल है. तो उसमें वो तो बहुत को एजुकेशनल स्कूल है. बहुत लड़के होते हैं, लड़कियां भी होती हैं. और वहाँ तो ये समझ के हमने बच्चे को वहाँ डाला है कि वो थोड़ा सनातनी बन जाए, तो हमारा कल्चर का कुछ परिचय हो जाए, और बच्चे का संस्कार अच्छा खास निकले. तो वही था हमारा मकसद. तो हमने एप्लीकेशन डाला है और हमारा बच्चा का वहाँ एडमिशन हुआ है 2014 में. तो 2014 में जब एडमिशन हुआ तो वो तो बिल्कुल उस माहौल से इतना खुश नहीं था. तो हमने सोचा कि वो क्योंकि हमारा बच्चा हमसे दूर रहा था, तो इसीलिए तो बिल्कुल वो इतना ऐसे खोया-खोया लग रहा है. He was very lost.
कौन सी क्लास में गया था यामिनी जी?
वो तो
एडमिशन
मिडिल स्कूल में गया था. वो 6th ग्रेड में था जब हमने उसको वहाँ पे एडमिशन में डाला है. तो
और एज क्या था?
उसका
छोटा
तो
सा बच्चा होगा.
10 इयर्स का था. बच्चा सिर्फ 10 इयर्स का था जब हमने उसको वहाँ छोड़ के आए थे. तो जो कुछ भी वहाँ हो रहा था हमको बिल्कुल पूरा इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं था. तो हम तो वी गॉट वेरी स्वेड अवे बाय जग्गी वासुदेव दैट ये बिल्कुल डिफरेंट लग रहा है और बिल्कुल सनातनी लग रहा है, बिल्कुल शिव जी के बारे में इतना बोल रहे हैं. तो हमने ये सोचा कि ये बिल्कुल अच्छा स्कूल ही होगा. हमने ये भी नहीं पूछा कि वहाँ क्या चाल-चलन है या क्या कोर्स चल रहा है. ये सब हमने पूछा तक नहीं है. हमने सिर्फ हमारे बच्चे को ये देख के वहाँ डाल दिया कि ये गुरुजी हैं, उनका अच्छा देखभाल करेंगे और उनका तो जो संस्कार है अच्छा बढ़ेगा. तो इसलिए तो हमने उसको डाल दिया है. पहले-पहले उसको इतना अच्छा भी नहीं लगा. He always wanted to come back. तो हमने सोचा कि he is away from parents, so he will get adjusted. So this incident happened in
बच्चे की कंप्लेंट किस तरह की होती थी इनिशियली जब वो आपसे कंप्लेंट करता था?
वो खाने के बारे में बहुत शिकायत करता था कि वो खाना जो है बिल्कुल ही सॉल्ट नहीं है उसमें, और पूरा बॉइल्ड ही दे रहे हैं. बच्चे हैं तो थोड़ा न्यूट्रिशियस भी होना है, तो उनका प्रोटीन जो है, प्रोटीन लेवल्स जो है पूरा ये बिगड़ गए थे। तो वो बिल्कुल विटामिन डेफिशिएंट बन गया था। पहले 6 मंथ्स में तो बहुत-बहुत विटामिन डेफिशिएंट बन गया, बहुत पतला हो गया है और he became very weak and then we thought, he was having homesick, was feeling very homesick. So later on, we wanted to see for another 6 months whether he will cope up. And somehow he understood that we were hardcore Jaggi's fan club, and he decided to just turn around and be in the school. It was a very tough thing for the child, and we never understood his pain until I went and stayed in the school myself.
तो आप कब गए स्कूल में? कौन से ईयर में गए? 2014 में आपने बच्चे का एडमिशन कराया था। आप कौन
हाँ,
से ईयर में स्कूल में गए?
2014 में हमारे बच्चे का एडमिशन हुआ है। 2016 से 2019 तक उनका जो मोलेस्टेशन हुआ है, वो इंसिडेंट्स हुए थे।
हुँ, हुँ।
तो बच्चा बहुत डिप्रेशन में चला गया कि हमको जीना ही नहीं है। हर बुक में वो लिखा था कि हमको मरना है, मेरा जीवन का कोई मकसद ही नहीं है, हमारा कोई एम नहीं है, हम बहुत एमलेस हो गए हैं। ये सब हमारे साथ क्यों हो रहा है? ऐसा उन्होंने एक पुस्तक में लिखा है। तो वो
अच्छा, अपनी
कोविड
डायरी
टाइम
में
था।
जैसे बच्चे अपनी डायरी में लिखते हैं, तो डायरी में लिखा है।
हाँ, बच्चा अपने डायरी में लिखना शुरू किया है। तो
हुँ,
कोविड टाइम था और हमारे पिताजी का भी वो कोविड टाइम में डेथ हो गया है। तो पूरा ये माहौल बहुत बहुत सैड था और बच्चे का इतना अटेंशन भी नहीं दे पाए। तो एक दिन जो हम उनके कमरे में गए थे तो वो लिख रहा था कि उनको मरना है। तो हमने सोच लिया कि ये जग्गी वासुदेव के पास रखे हैं बच्चे को, तो ये कैसा हो सकता है? हमारे घर में ये लिंग भैरवी यंत्र भी दिया है उन्होंने, तो
हुँ, हुँ।
बहुत कुछ बताया कि लिंग भैरवी ऐसी है, वैसी है। ये यंत्र आप घर में रखेंगे तो आपको कोई चिंता नहीं होगी। बच्चे को इतना कॉन्सेक्रेटेड स्पेस में रहना है। बहुत सारे कुछ कह दिया है उन्होंने कि हमने उनको पूरा बिलीव कर दिया है। तो वो ट्रस्ट जो है it was unbreakable at that point of time, and the child was getting very nervous, he was getting into depressions, and then that is when I started having a red flag that something is wrong with the child, and something is also wrong with the institution itself. Probably we were never told. See, the how the school works is we drop the child on June 1st, that is when the term starts. Okay, and then there is no phone communication between the child and the parent at any point of time. All he can do is write a few emails, and because that emails are already read by the school administration, none of these children actually write what is going on in their school, because they
तो
are always snooping.
स्कूल
Yes.
एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन एक्चुअली उन ईमेल्स को भी पढ़ता है, जो बच्चे अपने
जी,
पेरेंट्स को भेजते हैं।
जी, जी। और छोटे-छोटे बच्चे जो होते हैं जो फ्रॉम 2nd क्लास अंटिल 8th क्लास, वो ईमेल भी नहीं रहता है, उनको सिर्फ खत लिखना पड़ता है। वो खत कभी भी ब प पेरेंट्स को पहुँचता भी नहीं है और पूरे पढ़ते हैं कि क्या लिखा है बच्चे ने। वो कुछ भी उनके अगेंस्ट हो तो वो पत्र भी नहीं चलता है।
और
तो
आप
ये
कितने
कम
और आप कितने टाइम मिलना अलाउड होता है? मतलब वन्स इन अ ईयर, ट्वाइस अ ईयर,
हाँ,
वन्स इन
वही
अ
तो
मंथ?
मैं बता रही हूँ। ये तो 2 तो ये फर्स्ट टर्म में एक पेरेंट विज़िट होता है सिर्फ़ 2 दिन के लिए, और वो 2 दिन में भी बच्चों को अब बाहर नहीं ले जाने का अनुमति नहीं है वहाँ पे। यू कैन नॉट हैव द परमिशन टू टेक द चिल्ड्रन आउट, एंड वो भी ऐसा है कि द होल डे द चाइल्ड हैज़ टू गो टू स्कूल, ओनली इन द इवनिंग ही कम्स बैक टू यू। अगेन इन द मॉर्निंग ही हैज़ टू गो बैक। So for that only 2 days, the child is given to the parents, and then they have a term break in October after Dashera, and
ओके।
it is for about 40 days. After 40 days, the child goes back, and then we go for another parent visit. That should be somewhere in January for Pongal, and then the child comes back in April.
तो ये जो 40 डेज़ के ब्रेक में जब बच्चा आया था आपका, तो उसने क्या बताया कि वहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है? केवल खाने
वो
की कंप्लेंट की या कुछ और भी कंप्लेंट किया?
मेरा बच्चा तो वो बाय बिहेवियर ही इज़ अ वेरी शाय चाइल्ड। इतना बात भी नहीं करता है वो छोटे आई मीन फ्रॉम द चाइल्डहुड। सो वो सिर्फ ये कहना चाहता था कि जो कुछ भी आप सुन रहे हैं, जो कुछ भी ये लोग कह रहे हैं, वो सच नहीं है। वो शुरू से ही ये बात क कहना चाहता था। हम तो सिर्फ ये सोचा है कि ये बच्चा है, इसको इतना कठिन हो रहा है वहाँ पे योगा करने के लिए, इसीलिए ऐसा बोल रहा है।
ये मैं इसके साथ रिलेट कर सकता हूँ यामिनी जी। अ मेरा एक्सपीरियंस जो है वो कुछ गुरुकुलों के साथ रहा है।
जी,
नॉर्मली यू नो द इम्प्रेशन दैट वी हैव इज़ कि अगर बच्चा गुरुकुल में जा रहा है, तो द फर्स्ट
जी।
इम्प्रेशन दैट वी हैव इज़ दैट ही विल बी फिजिकली healthier
फिट
than physically fit than in count as compared to the normal school.
जी,
So this entire perception of mine was completely demolished when I went to a couple of gurukuls, including Baba Ramdev's gurukul. Baba Ramdev came in TV, he do yoga every day. All those things are fine. But if you go to the gurukul, if you see the children, you will not find the you will not find the kind of children that you have in your imagination. That
यस,
maybe this is how a student should be in gurukul. Second thing that we expect is that अगर बच्चा गुरुकुल में जा रहा है तो वो नॉर्मल बच्चों से ज्यादा काम होगा, नॉर्मल बच्चों से ज्यादा हैप्पी होगा, खुश होगा। और ये मैंने खुद एक्सपीरियंस किया है शंकराचार्य जी के गुरुकुल में। तो शंकराचार्य जी का गुरुकुल इज एन एक्सेप्शन। वहां पे
हुँ,
जब मैं बच्चों को देखता हूँ तो वो हंसते हुए दिखाई देते हैं, उनके चेहरे पे ग्लो दिखाई देता है। दे सीम वेरी एंथुसियास्टिक। बहुत ज्यादा शोर कर रहे हैं, कभी कभी बिल्कुल शांत बैठे हैं, मतलब दे हैव दैट चाइल्ड लाइक थिंग इन देम। But other than that, I have not seen these things in the Gurukul. So, anyways, was your son being molested by the fellow kids, or was the faculty involved, or was the management involved?
the
If you want to
child
talk
was
about that.
the child was molested by another student of the same age. But the difference here is he's molested many more children in that school.
Okay.
When the molestation happened, my child was about 13 to 14 years. And the other child also was 13 to 14 years. He molested other kids of the same age and children of the younger age. जो पढ़ते हैं वो 2nd क्लास से 13th ग्रेड तक है वो वहाँ उस स्कूल में। तो ये हो गया कि वो बच्चा जो है वो रिपीट ऑफेंडर है। तो
And when
दे
you and when you complained about that child to the management, did anything
वो
happen?
ये हुआ कि हमारा बच्चा 3 साल तक हमको बताया तक नहीं है। वो हमको बताया नहीं कि ये हो रहा है हमारे साथ, ये जो कुछ भी है ऐसे हमको ग्रोप कर रहा है, ये हमको बिल्कुल बताया नहीं। तो 2019 में उसका जो बोर्ड एग्ज़ाम्स हो रहे थे, तब उन्होंने हमको एक ईमेल लिखा है कि यू नीड टू टॉक टू द मैनेजमेंट इमीडिएटली, आई एम इन डिस्ट्रेस। तो हमको ये
बच्चे ने
बिल्कुल
बच्चे ने बच्चे ने ईमेल लिखा आपको?
बच्चे ने ईमेल लिखा, वेरी शॉर्ट ईमेल कि हाँ, आई
हम्म।
एम इन डिस्ट्रेस। तो हमको
ओके।
थोड़ा वी बिकेम वेरी वरीड एंड आई ट्राइड कॉलिंग द स्कूल। तो वो सिर्फ सिंपली ये बताया कि ये बच्चों का खेल है, आपको चिंता करने की कोई ज़रूरत नहीं। 2 दिन तक ऐसे ही बिताया कि हमारे बच्चे से हमको बात तक नहीं होने दिया। तो आई वाज़ वेरी एंग्री। आप इतना बोल रहे हैं तो आपको क्या दिक्कत है हमारे बच्चे के साथ हम बात करें तो आपको क्या दिक्कत हो सकती है? तो हमको हमारे बच्चे के साथ अभी बात करवा दीजिए। तो
तो एज़ ए
देन
पेरेंट तो ये दिस वुड हैव बीन डेवास्टेटिंग, मतलब ये मेल, इस तरह की
एक्चुअली
ईमेल आई कैन रिलेट टू इट।
2 days so it is harrowing experience, not understanding where your child is and how your child is doing. तो उस वक़्त भी हमने ये सोचा है कि ये सब मैनेजमेंट का इश्यू है और ये सद्गुरु का इश्यू नहीं है। यू नो फॉर अस मैनेजमेंट वाज़ डिफरेंट फ्रॉम सद्गुरु
राइट,
and
राइट,
we
राइट।
are under the impression that Sadhguru is always busy doing something for the world. And he's not able to pay attention to the management and management is doing all sorts of negligence. That was my perception at that point of time. तो हमने एक ईमेल लिखा है उनको कि बच्चे के साथ ऐसा हो रहा है अगर आप बच्चे के साथ हमको फ़ोन में नहीं बात करवाएँगे तो हमको पुलिस के पास जाना पड़ेगा।
किनको
देन
किनको लिखा है ये ईमेल आपने? सद्गुरु जी को या प्रिंसिपल को?
प्रिंसिपल को लिखे हैं हमने।
ओके।
I wrote an email saying that we
हुँ,
need to talk to the child immediately. तो हमने उसका उनसे बात करवा दिया। So he told
हुँ,
me that this has been happening for the past 3 years and the management knows it. And then
अच्छा।
I spoke to the principal immediately that this is not the way around
तो आपके
and
आपके बच्चे ने आपको बताया कि ऐसा 3 साल से हो रहा है और मैनेजमेंट को ये मालूम है, ऐसा हो रहा है?
मालूम है और मालूम होने के नाते ये
हुँ,
दोनों
हुँ।
बच्चों को एक ही कमरे में रखे हैं।
ओह! तो मालूम होने के
मालूम
बावजूद भी उन्होंने
बावजूद
दोनों बच्चों को एक ही
बावजूद
कमरे में रखा हुआ है।
एक ही कमरे में रखे थे, तो बच्चे का बहुत मेंटल प्रेशर बढ़ गया था और वो बोल नहीं पा सका, क्योंकि वो बहुत शाय लड़का है। तो ये होते-होते हमने उनको बताया कि ये तो अच्छा काम नहीं है, जो कुछ भी आप कर रहे हैं, दैट्स नॉट द
हुँ,
राइट थिंग टू डू, यू हैव टू इन्फॉर्म द पेरेंट्स। तो बच्चे को उन्होंने इंसिडेंट रिपोर्ट लिखवाया है 8 टाइम्स।
ओके।
ये तो विक्टिम हो गया और विक्टिम को
हुँ,
8 टाइम्स इंसिडेंट रिपोर्ट लिखवाने की क्या ज़रूरत है?
हुँ,
The
हुँ,
law says that if such incident happens, the parent has to be informed immediately, and
हुँ,
only in the presence of a parent the incident report can be written,
हुँ, हुँ,
because he should not be under any distress or duress or any pressure from the management,
हुँ,
right?
हुँ।
So इन्होंने 8 इंसिडेंट्स रिपोर्ट्स क्यों लिखवाया हमारे बच्चे के बच्चे से? तो they were
8 8 incidents reports over a period of 3 years.
नहीं, ओवर द पीरियड ऑफ 1 वीक।
Over the period of 1 week. Okay.
When the
8
last thing
incidents
happened, the
और
child,
उस
you
दिन
know, the way
तो ऐसा
the
या आप कंप्लीट कर लीजिए फिर उसके बाद। जी।
the accused one day when the child was sleeping in his room, the
हुँ, हुँ।
accused he just forced himself on my child and put his pants down and tried to forcibly enter my child.
ओह माय गॉड! हुँ,
And then he shouted, and the rest of the boys woke up. They all caught him and they brought the पेरेंट्स, होम पेरेंट्स, दे आर कॉल्ड हाउस पेरेंट्स। वार्डन्स को हाउस पेरेंट्स बोलते हैं वो,
हुँ।
और हाउस पेरेंट्स को इमीडिएटली इन्फॉर्म किया है। तो वो बच्चे को लेके कहाँ गए हमको पता नहीं है, और सिर्फ 1 और 2 डेज़ के लिए उनको सेपरेट किया है और थर्ड डे को उसको वापस लेके यहाँ छोड़ दिया है।
तो ऐसा क्या प्रेशर था यामिनी जी अकॉर्डिंग टू यू मैनेजमेंट के ऊपर कि वो
मैंने सुना है कि
एक्यूज़
वो
के साथ
बच्चा
ऐसा
बहुत एलीट फैमिली से है, बहुत एलीट फैमिली से है, और वो हमेशा मेरे बच्चे को कहता था कि माय पेरेंट्स गिव मिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर्स टू सद्गुरु, सद्गुरु वोंट से अ वर्ड, इट्स ऑल अबाउट मनी।
ओके। तो जो एक्यूज़ है उसके पेरेंट्स हाई प्रोफाइल हैं और वो ईशा
आई
फाउंडेशन में बहुत ज़्यादा पैसे देते हैं। इस वजह
देते
से
हैं।
द एंटायर मैनेजमेंट डिडन्ट डू एनीथिंग
एब्सोल्युटली।
अबाउट द कंप्लेंट दैट योर चाइल्ड हैज़ रजिस्टर्ड।
Absolutely, absolutely. But even then, we did not believe. We thought the
हुँ,
child was just saying something, and I did
हुँ,
not believe that Sadhguru would take money like that, and he would side with people. That was my impression back in 2019. तो हमने उनसे बहुत बहस किया है। तो आफ्टर अ लॉट ऑफ कन्वर्सेशंस, उन्होंने बोला कि बच्चे को हम वापस भेज देंगे और वापस नहीं लौटेगा वो। 10th क्लास से 11th को जा रहा था मेरा बच्चा। तो
हुँ, हुँ,
उन्होंने बताया कि 11th में हम उनको एडमिशन नहीं देने वाला है, हम उसको एक्सपेल कर रहे हैं। ठीक है? तो
हुँ,
एक्सपेल हम तो सोचा कि द प्रॉब्लम इज़ सॉल्व्ड।
हुँ, हुँ,
डिस्पाइट आवर सेइंग दैट हमको पुलिस के पास जाना है, हमको
हुँ,
कुछ चीज़ें बताए गए थे। स्वामी नक्षत्रा ने हमको काउंसिल किया है कि ये हिंदू धर्म से जुड़ा हुआ है ये फाउंडेशन। अगर हमने पुलिस का कंप्लेंट दिया है तो पूरा हिंदुत्व पे एक दाग जैसा हो जाएगा। और सद्गुरु जी को बहुत नुकसान हो जाएगा, उनका रेपुटेशन का नुकसान होगा। तो अगर हम अच्छे हिंदूज़ हैं, तो हम ये सब नहीं करना चाहिए। और वो भी बताने लगा कि यहाँ तो कन्वर्शन्स बहुत ज़्यादा हैं ये कोयंबटूर में। जो कुछ भी चर्च कन्वर्शंस है, इस्लामिक कन्वर्शंस है, वो बहुत ज़्यादा हैं। तो हमको हिंदुत्व का सपोर्ट करना है।
ओके, ओके।
तो
सो विल
दैट वाज़
विल
आवर
विल
मेन पॉइंट,
हाँ, तो इस तरह से उन्होंने आपको इमोशनली मैनिपुलेट करने की कोशिश की सो दैट यू
मैनिपुलेट
डोंट गो
कर
टू द
दिया
पुलिस।
टू गो
सो
टू द पुलिस।
ओके,
तो
ओके।
अ, उ उस
आपने
उसके बाद
हुँ, आपने
उसके
एफआईआर में
बाद
भी लिखा है दैट बैड कर्मा विल टू गो अगेंस्ट द अक्यूज्ड, इट इज़ बैड
यस,
कर्मा। सो
यस।
वाज़ दिस ये ये रेफरेंस था जो आपने एफआईआर में लिखा है?
जी, वही रेफ़रेंस तो मैंने लिखा है कि ये बैड कर्मा है, आपको पुलिस के पास नहीं जाना है और वो बच्चा का बैड कर्मा है कि ये सब वो भुगत रहा है।
बताओ। ऐसे तो फिर सब कुछ अगर ये यही एक्चुअली ये जो रॉन्ग इंटरप्रिटेशंस ऑफ धर्मा है ना, कि सब कुछ
हाँ,
कर्म पे डाल दो। कोई
जी।
मार रहा है तो उसको भी कर्म पे डाल दो, कोई मर रहा है उसको भी कर्म पे डाल दो। तो फिर इस तरह से तो फिर न्याय व्यवस्था की ज़रूरत ही नहीं है। लॉज़ की क्या
हाँ,
ज़रूरत है
वही
अगर इफ ऑल ऑफ दिस इज़ कर्मा?
वही तो जी। तो आफ्टर दैट व्हेन इन द 11th ग्रेड वी वेंट टू ड्रॉप आवर चाइल्ड इन जून। उनको तो थोड़ा काउंसलिंग दिया है हमने और 11th ग्रेड में बच्चे को छोड़ के आने के लिए हम गए थे बच्चे के साथ। बच्चा बहुत हिल गया था और कहने लगा कि वो वापस आ गया है, ये कैसा हो सकता है? तो मुझे लेके जाइए आप, मुझे तो यहाँ नहीं रहना है। He came shouting to me, crying that I want to go back. The kid is back. He's back. So हमको जाना है. So then it was very late by then that I cannot get an admission elsewhere for 11th grade. तो
दिस इज़
हमने उनको
2009 इज़ इट? और 20?
सॉरी
दिस इज़
दिस इज
2019?
2019 दिस इज 2019 जून
ओके, 2019 ओके। या
या
प्लीज़।
ये ये तो 19 मार्च में हो गया था जब उन्होंने बच्चे को एक्सपेल किया है और 20 जून को वापस ला दिया गया है। दे ब्रॉट हिम बैक। तो
ओके।
ये हमको इतना कुछ वी वर नॉट वेरी sure about what to do at that point of time. You know, it was 1 or 2 days that we were staying there. So I had to get it straight. So Swami Nakshatra abhi, he jumped into the whole thing and said, "Let me fix it." तो
एंड हू इज़
क्या
स्वामी नक्षत्रा यामिनी जी? Who is
जी,
Swami Nakshatra? Is he the principal or
Swami
who is he?
Swami Nakshatra works for Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev and he is taking care of Sadhguru's office. He's always in Sadhguru's office. तो उन्होंने
In what faculty was he involved with the school?
Sir, most of these swamis, they do not have any sort of designations as such. They keep it in such a way that we do not know who is who.
Okay. So there, so there was no accountability in terms of position.
Absolutely not, because
He was not the principal, he was not the teacher, and still he was taking actions, all the calls he was taking.
exactly, sir. Now, that took us a long time to understand why they were not having any designations. Very, very long time to understand why they were not given a designations. तो
Mhm.
मैंने कहा कि इफ द बच्चा इज कमिंग बैक देन मुझे तो पुलिस जाना ही पड़ेगा अभी। उस बच्चे
Mhm.
को ऐसे कैसे छोड़ सकते हैं? ये तो एक प्रेडेटर है। छोटे-छोटे बच्चे भी स्कूल में पढ़ रहे हैं। छोटे-छोटे बच्चे माने 7 साल का बच्चा भी वहाँ पढ़ रहा है। तो 7 साल के बच्चे से ऐसा हो गया तो वो डिफेंड भी नहीं कर पाएगा।
बिल्कुल।
तो क्या ये सब ठीक है? ये तो ठीक ही नहीं है ना? So I
Mhm.
started, being very firm about the fact that the child should go, and we also need to put a police complaint for whatever has happened. तो उन्होंने हमको फिर यही हिंदुत्व का रिकॉर्ड बना के हमको बहुत मैनिपुलेट किया है कि नहीं नहीं हम बच्चे को भेजने वाले हैं। तो बच्चे को भेज दिया। तो
भेजने
बच्चे
वाले हैं
को
मतलब एक्यूज़्ड को निकालने वाले हैं स्कूल से।
हाँ, एक्यूज़्ड को स्कूल से निकाल दिया है, क्योंकि
हुँ,
हमने बोला कि अगर आप उनको नहीं भेजेंगे तो हम उसपे प्राइवेट कंप्लेंट डालेंगे। हम ईशा
हुँ,
फाउंडेशन पे नहीं डालेंगे मगर प्राइवेट कंप्लेंट तो डाल सकते हैं ना। वो हिंदुत्व
बिल्कुल।
से क्या लेना-देना है?
हुँ,
अगर एक माँ प्राइवेट कंप्लेंट डालना चाहता है डालना चाहती है तो उसको हिंदुत्व से क्या लेना-देना है? तो हमने बोला कि हम ये इतना कुछ कहने लगे कि चलो हम प्राइवेट केस डाल देंगे। तो इट वाज़ कन्वेड टू द पेरेंट्स दैट the mother wants to go for a private complaint. That is when they left the school. And later on, that was completely, shown in the way, in a very passive aggressive way that we do not understand, that it reflected on the child in a big way. जो प्रकाश सोमिया जी हैं, जो प्रिंसिपल हैं, उन्होंने बच्चे के साथ बहुत ये किया है कि he was also the academic advisor for my son. So,
Okay.
my son wanted to go to Stanford, he wanted to go and study in Oxford. तो उनको बहुत डिस्करेज कर लेते थे कि you will never get into that colleges. अच्छा, तो and he also used to say that Sadhguru does not want you all to go to universities. He wants you to do some seva. तो ऐसे ही बच्चे को भी मैनिपुलेट करने लगे। तो उनका जो कॉन्फिडेंस है पूरा बर्बाद हो गया है। और वो हमसे ये सब कभी भी नहीं कहता था कि हम हर्ट ना हो पाएँ, क्योंकि हम उनके डिवोटीज़ हैं। तो वो सिर्फ़ ये सोचने लगे कि बच्चा सोचने लगा कि हम जो कुछ भी बोलेंगे पहले तो वो स्वीकार ही नहीं करेंगे और बाद में वो हमको ही पड़ेगा। So he was just adjusting to the things in the school. So when I saw my child, during the COVID time, he was doing online classes from home. So I saw a lot of differences, a lot of psychological issues with the child. The way he would not talk, he was all by himself in the room. He would not socialize with anybody. तो वो तो अलग-सा बात है। सो देन आई थॉट ये कैसा हो सकता है? जो हमको क्या कहा गया है कि सद्गुरु जी के चरणों में छोड़ दो बच्चे को, वो देख लेंगे सारा और कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा था, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा था। एवरी डे वी वेक अप, वी डू देवी सेवा, वी डू देवी साधना, वी डू आवर ओन साधना, बट आई डोंट सी अ डिफरेंस इन माय चाइल्ड्स बिहेवियर एट ऑल। So that is when I got to, something told me that we are going on a spiritual path with a person that we don't know completely. Money can be earned back. Property can be earned back. Everything can be earned back, but spiritual path, once you are on it, you can never go back on it. And that very big thing only we have given to a person that I do not understand completely. The time that we spend with Jaggi Vasudev is so minute. We have only seen his volunteers. We only saw the meditators. But as a person, what he is, I do not know. That struck me very deep that, if he was a real guru, he would spend time with me in a very physical dimension, right? He would
Right.
see to it that, how my behavior is, how I should be molded and all that. That was never happening in that ashram. This
So
has
this,
become like a mass production.
Yamini ji, actually, this is one of the common problem that we have today. A guru should be like a mother. So if a mother is not available to the child, then that is not parenting. Similarly, if the guru is not available to the devotees, then that is not the guru shishya parampara. So as you rightly said, this is more like factory which is mass producing something. And
Yes,
guru can get away with, because the guru is sitting at the top and he is not accessible, so he can get away with a lot of things by just getting the benefit of doubt that
yes,
maybe ये नीचे वाले लोग कर रहे हैं, मे बी गुरु की गलती नहीं है, ये लोग
okay.
कर रहे हैं, गुरु की गलती नहीं है. So
Yeah,
this is how
that is
this
my
is how
perception from the beginning, that Sadhguru is different from the organization.
right. Right. So yeah, we will come to that dharmic aspect also, but I want to understand that how. So you did a press conference after that, I believe, and
Yes,
you were finding. I think the FIR just got registered few days back, if I'm not wrong.
yes.
So take us through the struggle that you have to go through to just register an FIR. and all the things that you have to face after doing the press conference and after going public against him?
See, in April 2024, I have written 4 very explosive emails to Jaggi Vasudev and his office, where they are supposed to give it to Jaggi himself, because the things that I have written in the emails clearly highlight the negligence of the management, the high handedness of the management, and clearly flouting the rules and regulations of every single education board in the country and in the state. That this should not be the way a school should be monitored or regulated. Especially the teachers are not qualified to teach in that school. Hardly 25% of the teachers are only qualified. For
What do you
example,
mean when you say that teachers are not qualified?
see, according to the ICSE board regulations, you should be either a B.Ed or an M.Ed to teach in the school. Is that right?
Yeah, I believe.
And
I
you
mean,
need
it
to
is the case
have,
at least with the CBSE board. I'm not sure about the ICSE board, but with the CBSE board, this is the case.
it is the case with most of the cases. And the
Hmm.
principal should be an M.Ed.
Yeah.
Okay. The current principal is only a B.Ed. He is not even qualified to be a principal of that school, if I'm not wrong. And in the second place, most of these people who are teaching there, they have been volunteers in one form or fashion. They have done some online classes, and they have finished their degrees online, and they come and teach there. Okay, they could. There are some people who are IITs and all that. It does not mean that IIT can teach a class. There are certain rules and regulations that even if he in IIT wants to become a teacher, he has to take a minimum primary degree for education. That is not happening. And myself, I've taught political science in the class, and I was given a board going children. And fortunately, I've been a very good teacher for the children that, my class average was 93. My class
Okay.
average was 93 for both the years. So what I'm saying here is they're not qualified to teach, and it is mandatory for all the educational schools or colleges that the teachers who are handling the children, the caregivers who are handling the children, should be mandatorily background checked by and verified by the local police. This is mandatory in every board across the country, and none of that
Right.
is happening. Most of
So
them are
was
coming
it
from broken
so, so
homes.
so was it a free school when you say volunteers were there? Were they charging you fees? How much
Of
fees are
course,
they?
from anywhere between 5 to 7.5 lakhs is what we pay
So students were paying 5 to 7 lakh rupees per annum.
per annum. Yes, and this
So
is
this is
not include. This is not including their airfare. This is not
okay.
including their clothing. This is not also including 2 trips that they take the children, for which they charge anywhere between 70,000 to 1 lakh per trip. So per year we were spending 10 lakhs on the child.
Oh my God. So per year you were spending 10 lakhs, which is on a very higher side in terms of the normal schools that we have in the urban area. So I live
Yes,
here very close to Delhi, and
yes,
per year I am paying roughly 2 lakh rupees, 2 to 3 lakh rupees for each of my child. So
yes,
this is on a very high side. So first
yes,
of all, they are charging a lot. Secondly, you
yes.
are saying that they don't have proper teachers, and thirdly, the teachers are volunteers. So when you say teachers are volunteers, are the teachers not taking the salaries, or what does it mean?
The teachers are not paid any volunteer teachers are not paid any salaries. Even the
So
working, even the people who are qualified to teach, they are paid only half of the market price.
okay, so they are paying teachers. In the cases where they are paying teachers, they are paying half the salaries, and where they are taking the fees from the students, they are almost taking double the fees that they are supposed to take. So,
Yes,
and they are covering this, they are wrapping everything under as if they are doing some philanthropy, as if
absolutely.
they are doing some favor to the Hindu Dharma, as you are saying that if you go
Yes.
out and make it public, then you are as if you are doing some disservice to the Hindu Dharma.
Become an
So,
anti-Hindu immediately. If you go and talk about Isha anywhere, you become an anti-Hindu, you become an anti-national, you become a George Soros agent and a deep state.
yeah, and a Congressy.
and a congressee.
Yeah. So we have been facing this almost on every day. Also, you said that this was a co-ed school.
Yes.
My, one of my question is that do you think that they would have taken it more seriously if your child has been a girl? I mean, I
I
just wanted to understand that is the system indifferent or unfair toward the boy, or was it
No,
not related
I
to
will
any
tell
gender?
you something. I will tell you something.
Mhm.
According to one of the national and international surveys, boys boys are much more molested than the girls,
Right, 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 right.
right? And then when I told the then GC of the school, Mr. His name is Swami Vibhu, I would not know his real name. He simply said, if it were a girl, I would have thought of taking an action.
Okay.
So, he's not from India. He's a Lebanese guy. And he himself has brought in that kind of, you know, what I should say, an environment where he does not want to take things seriously. And he himself is a repeat molester. The GC of the
He
school
himself means the faculty or the management himself, management.
he was the head of all the Isha schools, including Isha Vidya, Isha Sanskriti, and Isha Homeschool at the time this incident happened. And he himself molested a male PT teacher from Australia.
Oh my God. So the management is involved in molestation. They are
And
protecting the molesters.
the PT teacher has written to Sadhguru's office n number of times, and still, despite of that, knowing that he's a predator, he is a molester, how could you let him be in the school premises with young children for until 2024 is my big question. Knowingly, you are putting these children into such kind of a, a situation where they have to defend for themselves, or they will never talk about it. See, after my press conference, there were a group of parents who came out and said that, the school is a wonderful school. Sadhguru is a wonderful person. And, they're happy with their children being in the school. And I am somewhere very disgruntled and all that. See, I'm not speaking just for myself. I'm speaking for the safety of all the children who are housed in that ashram. In one way or the other, you do not realize that this school is run by volunteers who come from different backgrounds. I have seen a PT teacher who was a drug addict.
Oh.
Okay, and now you are allowing that person to be in the school. So now I am also you haven't seen that. These parents have not seen that there have been a drug addict, there have been an abuser, they have been a child molester. There have been so many incidents that were happening in the school. They don't know. They just drop their children there and go.
And Yamini ji, one more thing. How did you get to know all of these things? Probably you volunteered inside the school, right? So that thing
Yes,
was not clear.
I was with the children 24/7 in the
From
school
which year to which year?
24
From
from
which year to which year?
2022 from 2022 to 2024 after my older child left. Because
Okay.
as I said, I wanted to figure out for myself whether this guru is the guru or not. Because I've given away my spiritual path into Isha Foundation, which is not looking anywhere close to spirituality. It was looking like a business model. I was also the center coordinator for Rajahmundry from 2018 until 2023, wherein I started believing that this is looking more like a business model rather than a spiritual organization. And that is when my quest to know things about this organization, which I trusted with my own spiritual sadhana, which I trusted with my own spiritual progress, has to be verified for myself, leave alone for other people. I have to verify it myself. Probably I fell into it by mistake.
तो व्यूअर्स के लिए मैं एक बार दोबारा से इस बात को बता दूं क्योंकि ये बहुत जरूरी है। यामिनी जी ने पहले तो अपने बच्चे को निकाला 2019 के बाद में 2020 के अराउंड और 2020 राइट
2022, sir. He graduated.
ओके सो बच्चे को निकाला 2022 में और 22 से लेकर 24 तक 2 साल तक यामिनी जी उसी स्कूल में वॉलंटियर रही हैं और वॉलंटियर रहने के बाद फिर उन्होंने जब अंदर का देखा ये सारा कुछ क्योंकि पहले इनको ये डाउट था, हो सकता है कि इनका केस वन ऑफ केस हो सकता है कि इनका केस अकेला केस कुछ क्षणिक चीज़ें हुई हों, कुछ कुछ इंसिडेंटल चीज़ें हो सकता है कि केवल इनके बच्चे का एक्सपीरियंस रहा हो। लेकिन जब ये अंदर गई, तब वो चौंकाने वाली बातें हुई कि वहाँ पे इन्होंने ड्रग एडिक्ट्स देखे और इन्होंने अंदर जिस तरह का इन्होंने अंदर का वातावरण देखा, वो बहुत गंदा था। यामिनी जी राइट? दिस इज़
जी,
व्हाट यू सेड।
जी।
ऑलराइट। So
तो
tell us
हमने
through your
हमने
through
ये
this.
भी देखा है
Yeah.
कि जो वार्डन्स वहाँ पे रहे थे, ये स्पेशली गर्ल्स वार्डन्स जो थे, वो हाउस
Hmm.
पेरेंट्स थे जो कपल है। कपल माने एक लेडी और वाइफ एंड हस्बैंड रहते थे। तो ये जो मेल टीचर्स थे, मेल वार्डन्स थे, वो एक ऐसा माहौल था कि हाउ कैन यू अलाउ अ मेल वार्डन टू बी इन द गर्ल्स हाउसेस? इज़ माय फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन।
Hmm.
है ना जी? वो आपके पिता तो नहीं है
तो मेल
कि
वार्डन्स को गर्ल्स हॉस्टल में अलाउड था। ये तो नॉर्मल स्कूल्स में भी अलाउड नहीं होता। ये तो
अलाउ
किसी
नहीं
नॉर्मल
होता,
स्कूल
वही
में
तो
हो
मैं
नहीं
पूछ रही हूँ जी। वही तो मैं
सकता।
कह रही हूँ कि ये जो वाइफ एंड हस्बैंड है, उनका बैकग्राउंड हमको पता नहीं है। हम अपने बच्चों को वहाँ छोड़ कर आ रहे हैं और वो
हुँ,
क्या कर रहे हैं इन बच्चों के साथ? मैंने देखा है, देयर वाज़ वन वार्डन हू यूज्ड टू गो इंटो द गर्ल्स बाथरूम विथआउट इवन नॉकिंग।
ओह
ये
माय
कैसे
गॉड!
अलाउड है? वो गर्ल्स तो 8th क्लास में है, 8th क्लास में पढ़ रही हैं। वो तो एडोलेसेंट गर्ल्स हैं, कितना चौंकेंगे वो। आई मीन हाउ हैरेस्ड वुड दैट बी?
और इस स्टेज में तो बच्ची जो है वो शायद पूरी तरह से बोल भी नहीं पाती, कभी-कभी।
बोल भी नहीं पाती, बोल भी नहीं पाती जी, क्योंकि उनका तो जो दे आर शेम्ड, दे आर
हुँ,
अशेम्ड ऑफ सेइंग दीज़ थिंग्स। तो ऐसा हुआ था, हमने देखा है, आई एम अ विटनेस। सी मैं पहले से ही बोल रही हूँ कि आई एम बोथ अ विक्टिम एंड अ विटनेस।
ओके। और उसके
तो
बाद भी
इसलिए
आप एफआईआर आपको एफआईआर रजिस्टर करने में प्रॉब्लम हुई?
बहुत प्रॉब्लम हुई थी, बहुत प्रॉब्लम हुई थी। तो
तो
जब
किसने
ये हो
किसने
रहा था,
आपको एफआईआर करने से कौन रोक रहा था? कौन कौन मतलब
पता
ऑर्गनाइजेशन कौन-सी रोक रही थी?
जी, हम हाँ, जब ये ईमेल्स ने हमने उसको सद्गुरु जी को भेजे हैं, तो
हुँ, हुँ।
कोई रिस्पॉन्स ही नहीं मिला हमको। दे सिंपली सेड यू आर आस्किंग टू मेनी क्वेश्चन्स, यू लीव द कैंपस। तो मैं बोल रही थी कि हाँ, आई एम नॉट लीविंग द कैंपस अंटिल आई एम टॉकिंग टू हिम। वन ऑन वन आई हैव टू टॉक टू हिम, फेस टू फेस आई हैव टू टॉक टू हिम। व्हाई इज देयर अ मिडलमैन इन बिटवीन? They simply said his health is not permitting. Let us assume his health is not permitting in June. How was he talking to Kangana Ranaut? How was he talking to Samantha Ruth? How was he talking to all the ministers who were coming into the ashram? And he cannot talk to a volunteer who is in distress. He cannot talk to a volunteer who is raising questions about the safety of the children in his own ashram.
और ये तो उनकी रिस्पांसिबिलिटी बनती है कंसीडरिंग ही इज़ योर गुरु। तो गुरु की तो वैसे
Yeah,
भी रिस्पांसिबिलिटी बनती है, मॉरल रिस्पांसिबिलिटी, सोशल रिस्पांसिबिलिटी, स्पिरिचुअल
absolutely.
रिस्पांसिबिलिटी, हर तरह से गुरु की रिस्पांसिबिलिटी बनती है।
Absolutely. Even if one child, sir, if someone is coming into your house as a guest, if something
हुँ।
happens to the child or to the parent or to anybody as your guest, would you not feel that, it is my responsibility as long as they are in my house? तो वही प्रश्न हमने पूछा है। I sent 4 emails saying that you are talking about Calcutta rape case. What about the incidents that are happening in your ashram? What are the, what about the incidents that are happening in the homeschool? After my child has been molested, he never even met us. He never met my child, saying that, you will be okay. Is everything okay with you? Did they take care of you? Are they giving you any mental support? Is there anything happening? He never did that. Now I realize. Back then I was a fanatic. Now I realize what did I do to my child? So ये सब हो रहा था. And then from in one last email, I have written that if you are not answering my questions, if you are not giving me an appointment in person, I am going to ask you questions from a public platform.
ओके।
सबको ये पता होना है कि ये स्कूल अच्छा स्कूल नहीं है. It is not safe for the children. It is not safe for the women. So that is when I wrote him a last email saying that if you do not answer my questions in person and if you do not give me an appointment, I am going to ask these questions from the public platform. हो गया. So and I left the school on June 19. तभी एक बच्चे का इलेक्ट्रोक्यूशन हुआ है उस स्कूल में and the child died. वो 16 years का बच्चा, they took him out without a parental consent to a yoga program, yoga day, and the child died of electrocution in a very dilapidated place. वो सिर्फ हाथ धोने के लिए टैप ओपन किया है, and he was electrocuted by the tap and he died on the spot. He is from Andhra Pradesh, he is from Vijayawada. So when this died, the parents were absolutely shocked. Like, we trusted Sadhguru with everything, and how could this happen to our child? And these people, the management of the homeschool, they gave 3 different versions to the newspapers. One version that he died in a shopping mall, one version that he died in a restaurant, and one version that, he died of something else. But it did not happen in the Isha premises. That is their premise. Okay. And that is when, it went over my head that if I allow this to happen, there will be many more children who are going to lose their lives because of their negligence, or
And
many more
and what happened?
children who are
And
going to be molested.
and what happened to this case?
See,
Was
sir,
it
again Hindutva card.
was it taken to
Again
some logical
Hindutva card.
conclusion? No.
Sorry?
Was it taken to some logical conclusion, the child electrocution case?
No,
इसका
no, they
कुछ
just simply closed the case saying that it was an accident because the parents themselves did not want to pursue it.
सो व्यूअर्स, इसमें 2-3 चीजें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हैं। पहली चीज ये है कि हम अगर किसी गुरु का चेहरा देखकर उनके गुरुकुल में डाल रहे हैं बच्चों को, तो ऐसा हो सकता है कि गुरु ना तो उन बच्चों से कभी मिलता है, ना उन बच्चों को कभी देखता है, ना गुरु वहां पे जाता है, जैसा इनके केस में हुआ। तो सदगुरु के गुरुकुल में है, सदगुरु के नाम से लोग वहां पे एडमिशन कर रहे हैं, बट सदगुरु इज indifferent toward the children. वो मिलते भी नहीं है, वो कुछ नहीं करते हैं। दूसरी थिंग विच इज मोर डेंजरस इज दैट बच्चों को बाहर ले जाया जा रहा है विदाउट प्रॉपर इन्फॉर्मिंग एंड टेकिंग प्रॉपर कंसेंट फ्रॉम द पेरेंट्स। अब इस केस में पेरेंट्स कभी कभी बहुत भोले भाले होते हैं कि हम गुरु पे ज्यादा विश्वास करते हैं। हम कहते हैं कि ठीक है, बच्चे को हमने दे दिया तो नाउ ही विल टेक केयर ऑफ इट। ऐसा नहीं है,
Yes.
बच्चे हमारे हैं। वी शुड ओन द रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ taking care of our children, at least till they become capable of taking care of their own. जी यामिनी जी।
Sir, post the death of the child, ये जो इंक्लूसिविटी के बारे में बोलते हैं, जो कंपैशन के बारे में बोलते हैं, इतना इतना बड़ा बड़ा भाषण देते हैं जग्गी वासुदेव, वो मदर को एक कंडोलेंस मैसेज भी नहीं लिखे हैं। He did not have the decency to write a condolence message to the mother, and none of the staff or faculty from homeschool went to see the parents. That is when the mother got, and on the top of it, at the same time in June, that time, there were so many celebrations going on in the Ambani family. He sent his daughter to the Ambani's wedding, but not to the bereaving mother. That is what has erupted a lot of conflicting feelings in a lot of parents and the meditators alike, that he could not write a condolence message to the bereaving mother, but he could send his daughter to Ambani's wedding ek baar. And then she got a little emotional, the mother got a little emotional and wrote a message that these are the things that happened during our child's death, and we are very unhappy with the school, we are very unhappy with the way things have been happening, and we will never get back our life together because we lost a child. It is a death for the mother every single day after one of the child dies for the mother. वो तो बहुत ही very very emotional, extremely emotional journey for those parents. That is when I have decided that I have to go public about this, and I have done the Hyderabad press. Right after the Hyderabad press, they have done n number of things to me. Number one, they started sending their goons and throwing stones at my house on a regular basis. Number two, giving rape threats. Unidentified people, they would just drop in at my gate and they would start giving rape threats that don't do this, otherwise you will be raped one day. Number three, I have an issue, after my father's death, we had some property issues with my brother. And he used that crack in my family to get at me. And he has used my brother to write a message, a Twitter message. Unfortunately, Jaggi did not do his homework properly, or his goons did not do their homework properly, because there was already an FIR registered against my brother in 2022 itself for attempt to murder. He brought an axe to kill me for property. So they did not know all these things. See, if I were of the same category, when this X message of my brother came, I would have got a gag order, or I would have just told like what a kind of a person my brother was. And there is already an existing FIR on this person regarding attempt to murder, right? I could have done that. But simply I kept it very personal, because my brother, at the end of the day, is my family member. And these things, they have to be resolved within the family, and there was no need for him or for me to take it on the public platform. I still have a living mother to whom I am responsible and to whom I have compassion, that whatever I do with her son, it is going to reflect on her. She is 65 years of age, and I didn't want to put her through any of this torture, and I ignored that message of my brothers simply for the sake of my mother. And they have propagated overnight. My brother had 150 followers on Twitter who were trolling me, and who were saying that I'm anti-Hindu, anti-Sanatani, and that I should be dead, and that they should kill me. These were the things that were going on. It didn't bother me. I registered an online complaint. After registering the online complaint, it took them more than 1.5 months to even acknowledge the fact that there is an online complaint. Then they sent me summons to come to Coimbatore. That is when my real ordeal has started. Okay, they would give me summons in the middle of 11 o'clock and ask me to be present by noon. I live 1100 kilometers away from Coimbatore. By train, it would take me at least 20 to 26 hours to go to Coimbatore. Even by flight, I have to have a connecting flight either from Chennai or Bangalore or Hyderabad. And if I start in the morning, only in the evening by 6 or 7, I would be reached. Is it even possible that you give me a summon at 11 in the night and you ask me to be present there by noon?
No,
Isn't
that's
it
like
police?
that's like using the system against you, using a legal system to
Absolutely.
basically.
But beating all the odds, I went to the summons. My son has given the statement. I have given the statement. They were supposed to file the FIR on that day itself. But Jaggi cancelled all his functions that day, I'm told, and he went to Delhi and sat with the Home Minister. Honestly, I am very candid about this. The same evening, the police has showed me the pictures of Home Minister and Jaggi Vasudev on the Twitter handle. They have taken pictures and they have posted on the Twitter handle, which I felt that it was a soft threat to me that I am behind him. Don't try to put your hands on him. So honestly, I'm not afraid of the system. I'm not afraid of ministers. I'm not afraid of anybody at this point of time or at any point of time, because, sir, we have seen home ministers before and there will be home minister after him also. It is not like he is going to be the permanent home minister for this country. For that matter of fact, I have been very disheartened looking at how there is a political nexus between this godman and the government of India. That we innocent citizens, we have no say in whatsoever, in whichever way things are happening. I felt very helpless that day, but it did not stop me from continuously pushing for an FIR. And finally, the FIR was done on 31st of January, which they informed me again on 4th of January, stating that they will not be able to give a copy of the FIR to anybody except my son, and my son has to be present in person. So again, we went on 25th February to get our FIR copy. Unfortunately, not realizing that the next day was Mahashivratri. Okay, I have cut off my ties with Isha Foundation in a big way. I have got, removed myself from all, Isha groups, and I've not been in touch with any Isha person ever since. So
So
little did I.
on the March Shivratri also, the Home Minister was seen with Sadhguru, sharing the
Yes, sir.
same frame,
Yes, sir.
same frame.
So on 25th, the Home Minister was there. Only after going to Coimbatore, I came to know that he's in the same hotel as I was put up at. And then it came to my mind that tomorrow is Mahashivratri. Maybe I should have come at a later date. I don't know if they're going to give me the FIR copy. But anyways, I went to get my FIR copy, and I was blatantly denied my copy, stating that Home Minister is in the town. So my next question is: so if Home Minister is in any town, why don't you put a curfew? Why don't you put a curfew? You don't have to explain to anybody. Just put a curfew that the Home Minister is coming, and please notify us. Please notify that the Home Minister is coming. There is a curfew. You please don't come. In which
So
constitution?
if anybody is killed while the Home Minister is in the town, then his FIR will not be registered. So
Absolutely not.
anyone can do anything when the Home Minister is in the town.
Absolutely not. This is what I'm saying. So this is what I suggested, that you should be very, very precise about the summons that you gave me. You have to ask me to come on a particular date. You cannot just leave it in the open saying that you can come anytime you want. Okay. And I am one single person, sir, with my child, and a few activists, like say about 4 or 5, because for the safety sake. I had n number of threats that day, but still I was there trying to take my FIR copy. So one person can do any harm to the entire of Coimbatore, you think? Or one person can harm, the Home Minister or Jaggi Vasudev, who are protected by 1,500 policemen that day?
Plus, you will
Is
not be
it
harming them by the FIR. FIR is a piece of paper. So you are not,
absolutely?
that's not a bomb which you can drop
That's not a
anywhere.
bomb. Probably it is a bomb, because the principal, Mr. Prakash Somiyaji, the GC, Mr. Swami Vibhu, and the wardens were booked. An FIR is registered against all 4 of them, including the main accused. Because he's a minor, I cannot give any details about the case. But all the 4 people, the accused, are accused. So they didn't want it to come in the newspapers. They didn't want it to come in the mainstream media. And they were trying to threaten me and control me in any which way that suits their narrative.
Okay.
So this is what happened. And then I came home. They said, I'm not going home without taking the FIR copy. Then they took me inside. This is very interesting. They took me inside a room. They locked me up, and they said, we're going to show you the FIR, just to show you that whoever you have named, we have, put their names in the FIR, but we can't give you a copy.
अच्छा,
And they
तो
showed
उन्होंने कहा आप दिखा सकते हैं लेकिन आपको कॉपी नहीं देंगे.
copy
ये
nahi
तो
denge.
I think this is probably illegal.
Very
Police
illegal, sir.
denying the copy of FIR.
Very illegal, sir. So this is what happened. And then I have looked at the FIR. I know that they've been booked, but they purposely left Jaggi Vasudev from it again, saying that he is not directly involved. For goddamn sake, he is the founder of the organization, and without his orders, not a single leaf also moves there. Any volunteer or any person who has worked with Jaggi knows this, that everything works only under his supervision, and that is an open secret. So I left the place, and they asked me to leave the town immediately. My flight was at 11 o'clock, but they shunted me out of the town into the into the airport at 4 o'clock.
Oh.
And I had to wait until 11 o'clock to catch my next flight. That was still all right. And then when I came back, they asked me to come for a judicial summon. They gave me a judicial summon, stating that I should be present on 18th. And again, 11 o'clock summon, night 11 o'clock summon. So I said I won't be able to come. I will come at a later date of 25th, because my son is also studying in the university, and he's got things to do. It's not just easy to pull a child and bring him all the way from Gujarat and take him for his summons. And even if it is from Rajahmundry, we are 1,200 miles away, and it's not that easy to just catch a flight in the morning and go. So this is what happened, and despite of all that, they gave me a summons again on 20th. I asked for a 25th date, and they would give me a summons for 20th. I said I'm not able to come. Sorry, I've asked you for a 25th date, and they asked me to come on 28th. That is when again, we went for the judicial hearing, recording
28th
my
March. That is, I think
28th March.
day before yesterday. Yeah.
Yesterday. And, while we were there, the judge has been quite compassionate. She heard us out, and she also ordered them to give me the FIR copy, which they were reluctant even the day before yesterday. And despite of all those things, they said, let's go to the police station and we will give you the FIR copy. So we were taken into the police station. My son was there. And my advocate also was there. And again, the drama started. They snatched my phone. My phones were not allowed inside. The DSP Shivakumar was sitting there with a video recording. They did not take my permission whether they could record the video. A video was ready. It was recording the minute I entered the room. And there was also the station officer, Sumati, and her colleagues. There were a few constables. And they lashed me from inside. Every time I go into that room, they will lock me up inside. I do not see what is the necessity. And then they locked up.
Mental torture. That's the mental torture.
Absolutely.
So they were trying to break you mentally.
That is, mental intimidation. It's an intimidation tactic. Yeah. So they gave me the FIR copy and they gave me a questionnaire to answer. I said, what was the necessity for this questionnaire? Because you have not informed me that I have to answer this questionnaire back in the court. But now you're asking me to, do the questionnaire. I haven't received any summons from them. That I should be questioned, and they need to question me. I didn't get any summons for that. So and they have also told me many other things. So there was a bit of an argument there. I refused to write any of the answers to those questions because they were something that are not pertaining to the case. One of the biggest question there was trying to get two women into the situation and asking me to write about these two women. One was write about two women.
Which two women?
One is Bharati Varadaraj, and second is Jayani, and the second one is Neeta Jaykantan. The questionnaire is asking me like, what is my relationship with Bharati Varadaraj? How do I know her? And why did I do the Delhi press meet?
Okay. So this is not related to the FIR.
This is not related to the FIR. This is not related to the POXO case. And there were 20 different questions regarding everything except the case. And they were trying to make me write a statement about Bharati Varadaraj and Neeta Jaykantan, which I directly refused on their face, saying that this is illegal. This is absolutely illegal. You cannot get a forced statement from a victim. I'm the victim here. And number one, we have to see about the case details. A questionnaire was sent to Isha Foundation on my complaint, which was answered by Dinesh Raja, who claims to be the CEO of the Isha Foundation. Okay. Now, there are two things you have to pay attention to. Isha Educational Society is different from Isha Foundation. Is that right? Isha School is an educational society only.
Okay.
Right? So Isha Educational Society is different from Isha Foundation. Now, when there is an acting principal and when there is an acting director for the school or trustees for the school, why should Isha Foundation CEO answer these questions relating to the school is my first question.
Right.
Okay. Right. The second question is Mr. Dinesh Raja has an FIR on himself for hit and run. Okay. He hit 3 cows and he tried to run. The villagers caught him and took him to the police station, and there is an FIR registered against him. So why should I even answer to a CEO who has cases pounding on him? I do not know Dinesh Raja. I know the principal of the school. I do not know Dinesh Raja. I know Jaggi Vasudev. Why are they not answering these questions? And why is some Tom, Dick, and Harry answering these questions? In which he clearly says that this incident that happened to my son is a very trivial incident and I'm disgruntled about something. That's why I'm doing all these things. So I objected to that questionnaire. And now my question comes back to 28th March. Now you are asking me to write the questionnaire for the questions that you have given me. Has Mr. Dinesh Raja come to your police station to answer the questionnaire, or did you take it to Isha Foundation to get it answered? If Dinesh Raja has come to the police station, it will be in the police registry, isn't it?
Right.
There will be an entry into the police registry. There is no such thing. When I have to answer, I have to come all the way from Coimbatore, from Rajahmundry to Coimbatore. But if they have to answer, if Isha Foundation has to answer, the police will go from Coimbatore to Tammedu, which is like 25 kilometers. But I have to travel 1200 kilometers to answer their questions. Isn't this harassment?
Definitely, definitely.
And then, I refused to answer, and my advocate is waiting there. And I said, if you do not let me out in the next 2 minutes, there's going to be a huge problem. My advocate is waiting on. And this is not the way. And, the DSP Shivakumar, he said, just give the summon copy in her hand. She's right here, give the summon copy in her hand. Is this the way you behave with a woman? You are trying to coerce me into a forced statement about two women that who are victims themselves, I believe, and and they have shared stories. So you are trying to what are you trying to do here? What is that he was trying to do? And threatening me with a question saying that you are also studied law, so why did you not complain in 2019? I've been telling from the beginning that I was brainwashed. There are so many educated fools who are brainwashed there. There are IITs, IIMs. Why only lawyer? There are IITs, IIMs. There are judges, ex-judges, current judges.
Plus, legally, it is not a foundation that you have to register an FIR in a certain time-bound manner. You can register an FIR for something that has happened years before also. I mean, speaking strictly from legal point of view.
Absolutely. So this is the trauma that I went through in the last 48 hours. And I've decided to register a complaint with the CBI. I've decided to register a complaint with all their higher authorities, the Home Minister of the country, Home Minister of the state, that, when a woman, especially a victim, especially a mother of a victim child, goes to get justice, you're putting her through this much of harassment to protect who? Protect Jaggi Vasudev? There is no other person that you're trying to protect. I think it's an open secret, wide, open to the entire worldwide, that they are protecting Jaggi Vasudev at any cost. And why do they do not want this thing to be come to light, that the principal, the GC, and the wardens are booked? None of the newspapers carried this news. None of the news channels, main news channels, carried this news. Unfortunately, we are being silenced and suppressed.
So sometimes, this I completely understand, because sometimes the ordeal of the case, of going through the case, is more difficult than the actual incident. And this is unfortunately how the legal system is, that if we try to pursue the case, sometimes that persuasion is so difficult and so tiresome, and so much, it will cost you your time, it will cost you money, it will have make you go through all of those things again and again. I have talked to you twice or thrice, and I found you as a very strong person. But otherwise, a lot of people can break under these things. So kudos to you, ma'am.
If it's a girl child, I would have not even stepped outside to get justice, because the ordeal that the girl child has to go through is much more intense than the boy.
Right, right.
Definitely, yes. That difference is always there. And as a parent, probably I would have never stepped out. No? So,
So, so two things, ma'am. Two things. One is that, as you are saying, I can completely relate that the political parties, the politicians, and this is not about the current ruling party. The previous ruling party was more or less similar, right? So I'm saying this across party lines. So the political parties also play by the same rule book, that a particular political party will say that if you talk against the politician, you will be labeled as anti-Hindu, as if you are not talking about the politician, you are talking about people label him as Vishnu avatar or those things. So talking against the politician means that you are talking against the Vishnu Bhagwan, as if, right? So this is to hide their own crimes, they will make you feel guilty. So you are a
absolutely.
victim and you will be made to feel guilty, that you are, as if you are doing some adharmic thing by making these things public. So this
Yes.
is one thing which is similar, and this is the way they are managing a large mass of people. Second thing is that, I found that a lot of these gurus, they are not preparing the next generation for to be the leaders of the world. They are preparing the next generation to be the sannyasis, to be the sevaks, to basically run their foundation as volunteers for free of cost. So
Yes.
in a way, they are taking your money, they are taking our money, they are taking our children, they are taking all the resources, and what they are doing with those resources is that they are making our children serve in their own foundation free of cost for the rest of their life, because they will not have anything else left in their life to study.
While their own children are moving in private jets, they go to Ambani's weddings and then they have the best of best. While many parents lost their children, and they are left to be as sannyasis, as you said. And what is sannyasi? When you are a sannyasi, how can you be on an employment visa?
Yeah, this is not even sannyasi. They are making our children slaves. I mean,
Yes,
sannyasi is a very positive, very, very dharmic word, very,
absolutely.
very positive word. They are not enlightening our children. They are making our children volunteer. They are making our children slave of their own business
Bonded
organization.
slaves. They're making the children bonded slaves. They do not want them to have free thinking. They do not want them to have a free thought process. So they are indoctrinating the children, to make them do things that they want to be done. So
Yeah.
it's a very tricky situation here that unfortunately, many are falling prey to this cult-like organization.
So this
वो तो
cult-like
धार्मिक
organization
नहीं है।
is very
ये
similar
धार
to.
ये धार्मिक का कोई
नहीं,
चीज़
ये
ही नहीं
धार्मिक
है
नहीं,
वहाँ।
ये धार्मिक नहीं। ये जो
ये
कल्ट
तो
है मैम,
हाँ,
ये बहुत सिमिलर है चर्च के और इस्लाम के। दिस इज मोर
जी,
क्लोजर टू दैट। वहां पे आप देखेंगे तो वहां पे इस तरह के केसेस होते हैं, नन्स के जो केसेस आए हैं पब्लिक में, वो इसी तरह के केसेस आए हैं, दैट यू नो दे गेट इनटू दिस चर्च हैविंग सम आइडिया, एंड नाउ दे डोंट नो वेयर टू गो। दे डोंट हैव अ फैमिली टू गो बैक टू, दे डोंट हैव एनी समाज टू गो बैक टू, एंड नाउ दे आर स्टक देयर, एंड
यस,
दे हैव टू जस्ट क्लोज देयर आईज।
यस,
एक और चीज मैम मैंने जो कॉमन चीज देखी है, which is the perversion that these kind of people have.
यस,
Perversion in terms of, I was watching one of the videos of Jaggi Vasudev, and in that video he was talking about how age is how age is responsible for rapes,
यस,
how marrying women at a later age is directly responsible for the increase in the number of rape cases in the society.
यस,
I mean, more or less he was inferring that. He said that, earlier, because the children used to get married at a very early age, so that's why, their physical needs were fulfilled, all those things he was
हुँ,
talking about. I don't know what to say, because this is counter to all the evidences that we have. Because most of the rapists, it is not that they are unmarried. It is not that
यस,
they are not married at a very early age. Maybe they are married at an early age. Plus,
हुँ,
uh, this is not the language of a sannyasi who should be talking about brahmacharya, who should be talking about self control, who should be talking about So, in our scriptures, we have an example of ahimsa, like, when a lion, जब शेर वाल्मीकि जी के आश्रम में जाता था, तो उसके अंदर से अहिंसा हिंसा खत्म हो जाती थी, और शेर और बकरी एक साथ पानी पी रहे होते थे। इसी तरह से जब आप किसी सन्यासी के पास जाते हैं, तो अंदर से वो चीज़ें अपने आप खत्म हो जाती हैं। इनके
समझ।
अंदर ऐसा नहीं है, इनके अंदर वो सेंस ऑफ परवर्जन है, और जो कि इनके एलीट स्टूडेंट्स में भी नज़र आती है। I found, Kangana Ranaut talking on a similar lines. Very philosophical, very, philosophy point of view से, और उस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से वो बड़ा अच्छा लगता है सुनने में। बट वो धार्मिक नहीं है, वो सनातन नहीं है। तो
See, sir, it is very difficult to go on the path of dharmic, because at every single point of time you have to ask yourself whether you are doing the right thing, and you have to stick to some sort of thought process. The thought process is very, very important. But if you are having a free mind, as you say, free mind for Jaggi Vasudev means everything is free. There are no boundaries. If there are no boundaries, how will you differentiate between a mother and a sister? You
राइट,
know,
राइट,
there is no
राइट,
differentiation between a mother and a sister. And when he talks very freely about these things, it also insinuates younger generation to do whatever they want to, without any fear or without any guilt. All right. So now
बिल्कुल,
he's thinking that he's rubbing away the boundaries for these children, but he's a rape apologist, for God's sake. We can actually prove this with evidence that he's written on many of his tweets. He's written in many of his literature that there are too many boundaries around. That's why these rapes are happening. Unfortunately, this man does not have any family values. He does not have any human values that will make us come to a derivation of a certain common sense. This man has no common sense also. So that I have seen, especially when he writes literature about Ma Parvati, about how she got the name Aparna. He writes in a very explicit manner. The scripture says that Ma Parvati has done a lot of penance, really heart wrenching penance to attain Shiva, you know. And then she ate just two leaves when she was called Dviparna. And then she ate one leaf, and then she became Ekaparna. She stopped eating that one leaf and she became Aparna. And then she attained Shiva and she became his wife. That is what the scripture says. But unfortunately, this misogynist Jaggi Vasudev, he says that, he literally, you can read that message where he says that when Ma Parvati went to see Shiva, all he said was, "You need a man. You need a man." So she felt very shy, and she wanted to go beyond. And then she took out all her jewelry. She unclothes herself, and she put two leaves to cover herself. That is Dviparna. And she removed one, and then she is called Ekaparna, and she removed all her clothing, and then
and
she
then
became a Parna. From which literature did this come? He has to explain. Now he says he has never read scriptures. Then why is he quoting scriptures? In which
so
scripture does it
this
show
is
that Mother Ma Parvati has stripped for Shiva?
so this is what I was inferring. आपने बोला कि you know a sannyasi should do the right thing, a guru should do the right thing. जब हम
Yes,
बोलते हैं राइट थिंग, तो राइट थिंग का मतलब कहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है कि क्या राइट है क्या रॉन्ग है? ये तो हमारे शास्त्रों में लिखा हुआ है, जो राइट है जो रॉन्ग है।
yes.
अब ये पहली कंडीशन ये रख देते हैं, यू डोंट नीड टू रीड एनी शास्त्र, आपको शास्त्र पढ़ने की जरूरत ही नहीं है, आपको केवल ये बॉडी पढ़नी है। इसका मतलब यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू क्वेश्चन दिस पर्सन वेदर द पर्सन इज सेइंग द करेक्ट थिंग और नॉट। तो
Absolutely.
आपको हमको इन्होंने शास्त्रों से अलग कर दिया, और ये सारे शास्त्रों को हमारे ऊपर कोट कर रहे हैं। देखो भगवत गीता में ये लिखा हुआ है। जैसे माता माता पार्वती के लिए जो इन्होंने अभद्रता लिखी है,
Hmm.
ये एमएफ हुसैन से कैसे अलग है? ये
कुछ भी
एमएफ
अलग
हुसैन
नहीं है।
यही
और
काम तो
और
करता
वो
था।
वो अलाहाबादिया से भी कुछ भी अलग नहीं है।
हाँ, वो
And now
रणबीर अलाहाबादी से कैसे अलग है? बस इनकी भाषा थोड़ी-सी अलग है, अदरवाइज़ मतलब सेम है। अपनी माता के बारे में
मतलब
वो भी बोल रहे थे, अपनी माता के बारे में जग्गू वासुदेव भी बोलते हैं। कम से कम हमारी
जी,
माता के बारे में तो बोलते हैं, क्योंकि माता पार्वती जी को हम तो माता मानते हैं। अभी तो वैसे भी
माता
नवरात्रे चल रहे हैं।
पार्वती और बाबा जी शिव जी को ये तो पूरे यूनिवर्स का माता-पिता हैं। तो वो
बिल्कुल।
इलाहाबादी ऐसे ऐसे डिफरेंट हो गया। वही मैं प्रश्न
तो
पूछने वाली
इलाहाबादी
थी
ने तो
कि
खाली अपने माता-पिता के बारे में बोला था। ये तो पूरे ब्रह्मांड के माता-पिता के बारे में बोल रहे हैं।
जी।
ये तो उनसे भी ज़्यादा परवर्ट है। ये तो उनसे भी ज़्यादा अभद्रता है।
अब ये बोलते हैं हमने स्क्रिप्चर कभी पढ़े नहीं, हमने सिर्फ़ एक्सपीरियंस किया है। तो आपने माँ माँ पार्वती का स्ट्रिपिंग एक्सपीरियंस किया है? मैं वो पूछना चाहती हूँ। आप कैसे परवर्ट हुए? ऐसे कैसे बोल सकते हैं माता पार्वती के बारे में? एंड देन
ऊपर
ही
से
एंड
हाँ। जी, जी।
And he also wrote about Ma Yashoda in the same terms a little while ago, and
राइट।
then he apologized. But writing something about Ma Parvati in that tone, I am questioning the Shankaracharyas, I am questioning the RSS, I'm questioning VHP, Bajrang Dal, and even the present government, whether they endorse this literature. One one question that I'm asking all the Hindu keepers is, do you endorse the literature that is written about Jaggi Vasudev when it comes to these scriptures?
नहीं,
One question.
आरएसएस तो इनडायरेक्टली यामिनी जी, आरएसएस तो इनडायरेक्टली करती है एंडोर्स। आरएसएस के जो टॉप मोस्ट लीडर हैं, उन्होंने तो ये बात बोली है कि मेरा नाम भागवत है, लेकिन मैंने आज तक कभी भगवत गीता नहीं पढ़ी। उन्होंने ये बात पब्लिक प्लेटफ़ॉर्म से सबके सामने बोली है कि अ, हिंदू मंदिरों में इतने साल के लिए मंदिर जाना छोड़ दो। उन्होंने ये बात पब्लिकली बोली है कि अगर आपको मुस्लिम के साथ दोस्ती बनाने के लिए गौ-मांस खाना पड़े तो खा लो। तो एज़ इफ 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 यू हैव टू किल योर मदर, यू किल योर मदर। तो उन्होंने तो पब्लिकली वो सारी बातें बोली हैं जो जग्गी वासुदेव बोल रहे हैं।
जी,
अभी की जो सरकार है, अगर सरकार की बात करें तो उन्होंने पब्लिकली ये बात बोली है कि मूर्तियों में इनक्रेडिबल इंडिया नहीं है, मूर्तियों में इंडिया नहीं है। तो उन्होंने पब्लिकली जो है राम मंदिर का उद्घाटन, अधूरे राम मंदिर का उद्घाटन किया है। उन्होंने
जी,
मूर्ति अकेले भगवान राम की मूर्ति की स्थापना की है, जबकि भगवान राम की मूर्ति अकेले नहीं होती, उनका पूरा दरबार होता है।
जी,
ये जग्गी वासुदेव ने भी यही किया। जग्गी वासुदेव ने शिवजी भगवान का इतना धड़ से ऊपर, अब धड़ से
जी,
ऊपर तो हमारे यहाँ पे केवल एक राहु है। राहु जो है
जी,
वो कटी हुई गर्दन है उनकी। शिवजी भगवान
जी।
का तो हमने कहीं ऐसी मूर्ति देखी नहीं। तो ये
आप आ
शास्त्रों
आप
के पूरी तरह से विरुद्ध है।
आप ये भी नोटिस किए करेंगे तो अगर हाफ बस शिवा हो भी जाए, तो माँ गंगा कहाँ है? माँ गंगा
हाँ,
भी नहीं है।
माँ गंगा नहीं है।
माँ गंगा नहीं है। तो ये लोग जो कुछ भी कर रहे हैं, बहुत सर्कस कर रहे हैं, हिंदुत्व के नाम पे बहुत सर्कस कर रहे हैं। और
तो
वो
इन्होंने
सोचते
माता
हैं
दुर्गा
कि
को इन्होंने माता दुर्गा को हटाकर भारत माता बना दिया, एक ऐसी फिक्टिशियस कैरेक्टर बना दिया। इन्होंने गुरु
जी,
को हटाकर झंडा रख दिया, क्योंकि गुरु से आप क्वेश्चन कर सकते हैं, झंडे से तो आप क्वेश्चन कर ही नहीं सकते। तो नाउ
यस,
झंडा बिकम्स ध्वज, द फ्लैग बिकम्स योर गुरु। तो फ्लैग
यस,
तो निर्जीव है, उसमें यू कांट आस्क फ्लैग एनीथिंग। तो
यस,
इसका मतलब आपकी आस्किंग की अथॉरिटी खत्म। आप पूछ ही नहीं सकते कुछ भी। झंडे को गुरु मानो और भारत माता की पूजा करो। और
जी,
ऐसा नहीं है कि ये मूर्ति के अगेंस्ट है, जहाँ पे भी आरएसएस के प्रोग्राम होते हैं, वहाँ पे गुरु गोलवालकर की फ़ोटो होती है। वहाँ पे इनके जो संस्थापक हैं, उनकी फ़ोटो होती है।
जी,
तो ऐसा नहीं है, दे आर ऐसा नहीं है दैट दे डोंट हैव एनी फोटोज़ एंड दे ओनली वर्शिप द झंडा। दे हैव द फोटोज़ इन ऑल ऑफ देयर प्रोग्राम्स।
यस। तो
यामिनी जी
ये तो हिपोक्रेसी हो गया जी। तो
या एकदम एक्सट्रीम हिपोक्रेसी। जो
फिर
बोलते हैं वो ही
हिपोक्रेसी
नहीं करते ये, उसके अलावा
जी,
सब कुछ करते हैं।
जी।
तो व्हाट सद्गुरु सेज ही डोंट प्रैक्टिस, व्हाट आरएसएस सेज दे डोंट प्रैक्टिस, व्हाट बीजेपी सेज दे डोंट प्रैक्टिस। तो उनके
फिर
कहने पे पता नहीं, समझ में नहीं आता क्या करें। वो लेफ्ट का इंडिकेटर देके राइट को मुड़ जाते हैं, पता नहीं
जी।
चलता।
जी, पूरा कॉन्ट्रडिक्शंस ही रहते हैं उनके स्पीचेस में। और ये भी जो रील्स में है वो रियल लाइफ नहीं है। वो सिर्फ रील्स के लिए होता है। So whatever propaganda is being done in the name of Hindutva, I have asked many questions and I will be asking many questions. And I'm not afraid of asking questions. So are many Indians. There are many, many, many Indians who are not afraid of asking questions. We respected our Prime Minister in a very, very huge way. We have given our vote to BJP in a huge way for the last 2 terms also. And it is for the people to understand that Hindutva or Hinduism is a way of life. It's never a particular religious text or a particular religious institution नहीं है. हम तो institutionalize नहीं हो सकते हैं. And it is in our blood to be a Sanatani. No, nobody has to teach you how to be a Sanatani. It is in your blood. तो वो आता ही है. It does, despite of your caste, creed, and religion, from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, despite of all the religious, all the language barriers and all the cultural barriers, the very fabric of Hinduism remains the same. भाई भाई ही होता है फ्रॉम कश्मीर टू कन्याकुमारी, बहन बहन ही होती है, माँ माँ ही होती है, पिता पिता ही होते हैं, एंड अक्रॉस द रिलीजन ऑल्सो इट साउंड्स द सेम. So whatever they are trying to teach us new, it is never going to sit well with any proper Hindu. This is one thing I can guarantee for myself and for the rest of the country. That sooner or later they will understand that this is all a propaganda mission. This is all one-sided narrative that they are trying to put to promote one party, one person, and one way of life. हमारा जो
One,
सनातनी धर्म है वो one way of life नहीं है. However close however close we might be in traditions, north और south में थोड़ा difference रहता है ना. I mean, that is the beauty of this country.
yeah, it's your own way of life. It's your own way. So Dharma.
Yes, sir. So, and it can never be put into one confinement. And if it had to be put in one confinement, it would have been achieved during Mughals and the British Raj. With lot of power and lot of administration power that they had, they could not do it. How can these people succeed in it? Is my question. The politicians should understand that if Hindus had to be brought into one sort of a way, in one way of life that they are trying to achieve, it would have been achieved by the Mughals and by the Britishers. We didn't have to wait this long, but it's never going to happen. I'm being told by my grandmother that Hinduism will never die because what is born has to be dead. वो तो कब पैदा हुआ, कैसा पैदा हुआ, किसी को पता नहीं, कब मरेगा किसी को पता नहीं. जिसका आदि नहीं है, उसका अंत भी नहीं हो सकता. So it is like the Shiva himself. The Hindus are like Shiva himself. जिसका आदि नहीं होता है, अंत भी नहीं होता है. So there is no worry whether you have to be friends with Muslims or you have to be friends with Christians or any other religion. But it runs down in your blood somewhere that you're a Sanatani and you will live a Sanatani life.
That's so well said, यामिनी जी. तो यामिनी जी, एक्चुअली बहुत सारी बातें थी जो मैं करने की चाह रहा था. मैं सोच रहा था कि हम करप्शन और उनकी जग्गी वासुदेव की इलीगल एक्टिविटीज के ऊपर भी बात करेंगे. किस तरह से उन्होंने लैंड माफिया, एलिफेंट कॉरिडोर, किलिंग हिज ओन वाइफ, मेडिकल कंसल्टेशन में there are a lot of things that we can talk about. So maybe we will have series of videos.
Sure, sir.
अभी नवरात्रे चल रहे हैं और आप मदर का जो रूप आपका है, यही मदर का रूप सनातन में होना चाहिए. तो आई एम सो हैप्पी टू टॉक टू यू. और भगवान आपको बहुत ताकत दे, भगवान आपको बहुत बल दे. और जहाँ पे भी आपको हमारी जरूरत महसूस हो, प्लीज डू लेट अस नो. द एंटायर इंडिया स्पीक्स डेली फैमिली इज विद यू.
Thank you so much for your support, Kamal. Pleasure talking to you, and thank you for giving me a voice to bring this fact forward. That I also wish that it reaches as many people as possible. ताकि पेरेंट्स को ये समझ में आए कि जो कुछ भी मैं बोल रही हूँ, देख के बोल रही हूँ, it is out of my experience that I am speaking for the children and the entire issues going on at Isha Foundation. I have nothing personal against Mr. Jaggi Vasudev or his institution, but the way it is being run with an excess of the political and other forces, that is not the place for any person to be who is aiming for spiritual growth and spiritual life.
Thank you,
so
Yamini.
much.
Thank you so much. Namaskar.